G'day guys. Welcome back to Statchat Sports. It's Josh here. I'm with Steve and BT. And look, today here on the podcast, we're getting into American sports. We're right into the Super Bowl. BT, it's coming up on Monday morning, Australian time. Biggest question I've got for you is, how the hell are you going to watch this one? Work commitments? You taking a sickie? What are we doing?
Oh, mate, I'm not working Monday. Always take Super Bowl off every year.
You've called it in, Steve. What are you doing, mate? What are your plans?
I think I'll struggle. I'll struggle to watch it. I've got Brody's KO, but I'll probably struggle to find some time to watch it because I'll be back out on the road next week. So we might have to touch on it every now and then, but I probably won't be able to watch most of it, unfortunately.
So this is the key dilemma that I always have, and I think a lot of people out there do when it comes to American sports is, do you go the media blackout? Because it is a dangerous game. You've got to be on the ball. You can't be having any TV, no radio, no phone. You can't be scrolling your Facebook. It's a real dicey game. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through it and do it this year, to be honest, fellas. It's a tough game. I don't know if you guys have ever done that before. Full media blackout, BT?
No way. I wouldn't be able to control myself. Not a chance.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Yeah.
Maybe for the Super Bowl, not so much because it's not hugely, I suppose, important to me. But yeah,
oh, wow.
a full no. That's probably not. That's maybe not the right words. But I'm trying to say is, if, for example, if it was a Liverpool game or something like that, I would completely avoid it to avoid any spoilers. But in a game like this, if I see little bits here and there, it's not the end of the world to me.
Yeah, look, it's important to me. You know, I'm repping my Chargers gear. I'm a big NFL fan. I think it's really grown in popularity here in Australia. Probably in the last 5 years, I'd say it's become a lot more accessible to watch. Certainly, the way that I got into it was playing the Madden NFL games. I'm not sure about you guys, but that was probably the gateway about 10 to 15 years ago. But I think, you know, last 5 years, free-to-air TV's really caught on to it. KO, as you said, BT has been really good, and you know there's lots of different avenues to watch the game now. So it's certainly become a lot more popular, which I think is a really good thing.
Yeah, I think probably the last 3-4 years is when I've started watching it. Really started to understand it more, purely because I just want to gamble on it. That's purely all it was, and I thought I better understand how the game works before I start gambling. So the Super Bowl's the biggest gambling day of the whole year out of all sports.
Is it really?
Yeah, number one.
Which is surprising because I guess the American market is a very much a gambling market, but the sport, like we said, it has grown in popularity. I think in the last 5 to 10 years. But yeah, to make it the biggest gambling market in the world, I mean that's huge.
I'll just jump in just quickly. It is the second most watched sporting event in the world after the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup. So it's not no surprise that it is that big in gambling, I suppose, considering one event drags that much attention to it.
Yeah, it's no slouch, and obviously it's massive in the States. The sport in general is huge in terms of TV coverage. I think I read a stat the other week that of the top 100 most watched television broadcasts of the past year, I think 80 of them were NFL matches.
Oh wow!
In America, like it's just it is phenomenal. People just can't get enough of watching it. And you look at the playoffs that have been so far, Steve. They have been top notch. I mean, the two teams that are in the Super Bowl, they've certainly deserved to be there because they have certainly done it the hard way. There's been some cracking matches.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. They've both knocked out some big contenders, and up to the divisional round, and the national and the conference championships. Both games on either side were won by 3 points, be it a field goal right at the end or just 3 points in general. So really close games, and that makes for the best football, we'll call it. It's what it is to watch. So,
it's just good to see different teams as well. you're not seeing your same quarterbacks, either a Mahomes or a Brady or whatever. It's good to see these, especially a young guy come through in Burrow.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with the Bengals, I guess. It has been 31 years since the Bengals had won a playoff game, and they've managed to go on a terrific run, make it through to the Super Bowl, Steve. Certainly a bit of a team of destiny feel about the Cincinnati Bengals, you'd have to say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've got a second quarterback in his second full season in the NFL, and he wins the Bengals' first playoff games for 31 years, as you said, make their first Super Bowl appearance in 34 years, looking to win them their first trophy. Can't really complain about that. Look, I'll say one thing. I think they have overachieved a little bit, and I don't think anyone would have expected them to be in the position they are. But that take nothing away from them. Absolutely nothing away from them. The teams they've beaten, they beat the Raiders, who were the Titans, who were the number 1 seed over there. They beat the reigning
huge win.
Not the reigning, but they beat Chiefs as well, who everybody knows is an outstanding side. So
The Chiefs are the Chiefs.
They've definitely earned their spot there. It'd be great to see them to take it out. I reckon.
Yeah, no, they've certainly done it the hard way. Like you said, gone straight through the gauntlet. Number 3 seed, made it all the way to the Super Bowl. In terms of the Rams, BT, they certainly have done it the hard way too. They weren't, one of the top 2 seeds in the NFC, but they've certainly come a long way and taken some big scalps with them.
Oh, for sure. I think the inclusion of Cooper Kupp, massive inclusion there.
Yeah.
And now they get to play the Super Bowl in the home stadium. It's going from they're my pick. I think they're going to get it done by at least a touchdown, 7 to 10 points. I think they have that home crowd with them as well. But I think the big occasion might get to Burrows. I think there's going to be a fair few sacks on his end.
So do you think that your tips for LA, is it more to do with LA or is it more to do with the Bengals?
It's more to do with the Bengals. Like Steve said, I think they've overachieved. I didn't think they were going to get in. I didn't think they were going to win last week, let alone win the whole Super Bowl. So I think they played their Super Bowl, well, let's say the last two weeks. Yeah. Surely they can't do it 3 in a row.
Well, you look at the Rams. I mean, they've played their Super Bowl the last 2 weeks as well. Yeah. I mean, both teams have had phenomenal wins, phenomenal pathways to get in. We're talking last second field goals, massive plays at the end of the game to come from behind and win it. Both of these teams have certainly both got a case to say, look, we've got the better story. We've come through it the hard way. We've had the big wins. We've got the runs on the board.
I've got here we go. I've got some for you. No quarterback has won the Heisman, national title, and the Super Bowl. And if Burrows wins the Super Bowl, that's all 3, and I just can't see that happening.
But if it's going to stay that way,
yeah. If you look at you're talking about Joe Burrow's potentially cracking, not necessarily just him, but the Bengals in general. I agree to the fact that the Rams have a better all-round team. There's no doubt, but this is also Matt Stafford's first Super Bowl.
Yeah,
he's he's obviously got a lot more experience. But we're talking about the Super Bowl. There's no reason why he can't crack under pressure as well.
Well, here's the question for you, Steve. Who's the best quarterback in this matchup?
Ooh.
It's a tough question.
Yeah,
it's a tough question, but I mean, you got to pick one for one game, the biggest game of the year. Who you got?
Based off of this season, oh, geez, that's actually really hard. No, I'll stick to my guns. I would say Matty Stafford is probably the better of the pair. He threw the second most touchdowns, only behind Brady in the regular season. So he dominated on that front. He's 33, I think, so he's got plenty of experience on Burrows. But then at the same time you can look at Burrows and see that he's taken that team with really sort of one main target being Jamal Chase, and he's taken them all the way to the Super Bowl. You've got a case for both.
The Bengals do have some weapons. I mean, Higgins and Boyd as well on the outside. They're no slouches either, but certainly you mentioned Jamar Chase. He has been phenomenal in his rookie season as a wide receiver. But yeah, I mean, interesting call. It's interesting you say, obviously the experience with Stafford, certainly a veteran of the league, but you look at the two players over the course of the career, they've both won the same amount of playoff games.
Yeah.
All been this year.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, unfortunately for Stafford, that simply comes down to the fact that he's unfortunately been on the Lions for his entire career. He gets a move to a side with good receivers and good protection and stuff like that, and then he really shows what he's made of. Like, he was always a good quarterback at the Lions anyway, but he just had nothing to throw to, basically. Once Megatron retired, that was basically it for him in terms of the Lions anyway.
Just lacking the overall support. BT, what do you think? I mean, is this a game of the two quarterbacks, or you think it's more the supporting cast around them with the weapons, the offensive line, the defense? Obviously, the LA defense is phenomenal.
Yeah, I think both quarterbacks are pretty similar. I think it's like you said, Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham. I think they're the players that are going to get it done for LA.
Von Miller off the edge as well.
Von Miller, exactly. Yeah. So there you go.
Jalen Ramsey, they're stacked.
Stacked, exactly. So I think that's where they win it. I think that's what wins it for them. I don't think either quarterback's going to have a huge game. Well, my prediction for MVP for the Super Bowl is Cooper Kupp. That's what I'm going.
Interesting call. Why do you go with Cooper Kupp?
I just think the outstanding year he's had, I think it's just going to continue through. Watching his game last 2 weeks ago, his routes were just insane, and I think they're going to tear him up a little bit in the passing. I just don't think they're going to capitalize a lot. I think both teams are going to have the nerves, especially in the first half or so. Yeah. I think Cooper Kupp, he's going to get free. He's going to get a lot of catches, I think. And plus, I don't think either quarterback's going to have an outstanding game. So I reckon he'll get 2 touchdowns and a fair few receiving yards. I just think that'll be enough. Or Aaron Donald. Yeah. If Aaron Donald comes out and gets his fair few sacks and whatnot, has an outstanding game, I reckon I'd pick those two over either quarterback, to be honest with you.
That's a big call. It's a big call because typically your quarterback will win the MVP. But I think you're right. I think this is a defensive game. I think the biggest strength of the Rams is their defensive line, and the biggest weakness of the Bengals is their offensive line. So they've really tried to patch that line up throughout the year. They've got a few guys there that probably aren't going to be on that line next year. That's just a fact. So I think that's where the game's going to come down to. I think it's going to be Donald, it's going to be Floyd, it's going to be Von Miller, like you said. I'd be expecting 5+ sacks. Yeah, that's a big number, but I'd be expecting a big number of sacks on Joe Burrow. I think he had 9 sacks against him in one of the other playoff games that they won. So they're giving up a lot of pressure. I can't see that changing against the best pass rush in the competition.
And defense wins championships.
Yeah. But let me ask you this. This is a stat that I've got written down, but I want to see. You won't guess it, but I wouldn't think yous have got it. Yous are talking about defense winning the game, potentially. These two teams have the worst defensive record for, what have I got here? They're in the bottom half, essentially, for their defensive record. The Bengals at 18th and the Rams at 17, whereas they're both in the top 10 for passing yards and passing completions and just passing offense in general. So there's gonna be some points scored in this Super Bowl. It'll be as good as the Rams defense is. They've clearly leaked a lot of points.
Yeah, I think the thing that's hurt the Rams a little bit this year is their secondary really got raided in the offseason. So they have had to make up for that a lot in terms of the pass rush. And you saw them go out and get Miller mid-season. You've seen them load up, trying to make this run. I think it's, as I said earlier, that offensive line against the defensive line is where the matchup is going to be. And I think it's if the Rams can get home, the Rams are going to win. That's just how I see it.
I reckon Bengals will score less than 17 points.
Okay.
I'm going the opposite. I'm going more low scoring type game. I think I'm going against the trend.
Still feel like 17 points for the Bengals in a Super Bowl is not that bad, though.
Yeah, well, it's not bad at all. But when you're talking the total points on the gambling side of it is at 50.
Right.
Yeah, that's what people are expecting. And 60% of bets for the over-under has gone for the over. Yeah. And that's going to go more leading up to the Super Bowl. Most people bet on the over because no one wants to see a defensive game. Everyone wants to see score. So your average, your normal type gamblers who just want to bet on the game will bet the over.
Well, the last time the Rams were in the Super Bowl, I'm sure that's what you were going to say, Josh. Yeah. They were involved in the lowest scoring Super Bowl in history. So
yeah.
I'm sure that Sean McVay will be very keen to put his offensive prowess to the test and get some points on the board. Certainly, if he wins this, he's going to be one of the better coaches of the past 10 years. I mean, he's made 2 Super Bowls, won 1. Realistically, he's only been in the league for about 5 years as a head coach. I mean, if he wins on the weekend, where do you think that sits in, BT, amongst some of the top guys in the league?
But he said, 5 years? I don't know. It's hard to say still, though. It's whether what he can do after this one as well, if he can back it up. If they drop right off next season, even win or lose this, then where does that sit him? That's the other side of it.
Well, the thing is, they've really built for this year. Exactly. They went all in. They got Stafford. They traded draft capital. They got Miller. They went out. They got Odell. They haven't been afraid to go all out. This is their year. We want to win it. And, hats off to them. Bold strategy, but knowing what you want, knowing what your window is and making it happen. You got to respect that. And if they fall off next year as a Rams supporter, you're going to be happy that they had that run. They got to the Super Bowl and hopefully went out and win it. You'd much rather that than be sitting fringe playoffs for the next 5 years, hoping that you might sort of jag a win one year in a playoff game. I think personally. So,
yep, completely agree with all of that. Exactly how I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So look, we've touched a little bit on some of the key players, some of our Super Bowl MVP picks. We've also got the NFL MVP coming up. We're recording this Wednesday night, Australian time, and I'm pretty sure the MVP is going to be announced Friday morning, Australian time. Steve, have you got anyone in particular that you're keeping an eye on that you think is going to, get the job done in the MVP race?
Well, Rodgers is the definite favourite. There's no doubt, and is Brady's close by as well. Like it's the same as any MVP. It's always typically a quarterback that wins it. I'd like to see Cooper Kupp win it, potentially take out the double, get the Super Bowl MVP as well, and the Super Bowl just in its own. He could be in for a hell of a year in terms of trophies.
He's had a monster year. I mean, his route running has been phenomenal. He's obviously been the number one target there for the Rams and just a real difference maker. So I'd love to see, the MVP not be such a quarterback-driven award. It just obviously the quarterback is the most important player on the team. Yeah, we all get that. We understand that. Is there a way to try and even up the playing field? I mean, Offensive Player of the Year is kind of that a little bit. But I'd really like to see, and even defensive players as well. There's some really good defensive players out there that make a big difference. Rarely in the conversation. So I think that's something I'd like to change.
They're never going to change that type of stuff. It's all about the money and what brings people to watch the games. They're going to want your Brady, obviously not Brady now, but Rodgers, your Mahomes, and all of those players winning those type of awards. They're the ones who are going to be televised. They're the ones who are going to be all over social media. It's going to bring more people to the game. People don't care about the defensive players.
The quarterback-driven league. So you mentioned the two quarterbacks there, Brady and Rodgers, both with interesting decisions on their future. Brady's obviously made the announcement that he's retiring. A couple of murmurs, though, that he might not be done.
Yeah, I saw that today. Saw that today. Never say never. That's what he came out and said.
Is it the 49ers? Is that realistically the destination if he was to go another round?
That'd be good to see, to be honest. Could you just imagine if he comes out and makes like another Super Bowl or something with another team after kind of retiring? It would be. I would like to see. I'm a Brady fan. He's not my number one athlete, but I'm a Brady fan. But yeah, I can't see it happening. I can't see it happening. I think he's done.
So Rodgers, on the other hand, Steve, I doubt he's retiring. There's been a little bit of chatter about, that he could retire if he doesn't, get the things that he wants at Green Bay. But I mean, where do you see it, Steve? Do you think he's staying, or do you think, there's a couple of destinations out there that, are in need of a quarterback, but are pretty well built teams ready to go?
I don't think he'll stay at Green Bay. Like, I don't know all the politics behind his fallout with them before this season, but he obviously ended up staying. But I don't think he'll settle for that 2 years in a row. So I think he will go. I don't think he'll retire. I was thinking about this the other day. I was talking to the guy at work about it. Where can he go? And when the initial rumors came out that Brady was retiring, the one name that got thrown around was Tampa Bay.
So the biggest issue with Rodgers, as far as I understand it, is he's still under contract, so he has to be traded. And Green Bay has realistically said to Rodgers, if you want to be traded, just tell us. That's okay. We'll try and work out a deal. But, we're not going to trade you to anyone that's not going to be advantageous to us, which realistically that rules out pretty much everybody in the NFC, and particularly the big heavy hitters in the NFC. So you're kind of looking AFC, and the two teams I think that are best placed to go after him that need a quarterback, or potentially could do with an upgraded quarterback and have the cap space is the biggest thing as well. So the Titans is one. Ryan Tannehill's a good quarterback, but I don't think Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback that's going to win you the big one. I don't think he's shown that he can put the team on his back and win the title. They have a bit of space to play with in the cap, so they could potentially get him. He's going to want pieces brought in around him as well. So maybe that's a spot where they trade Tannehill back, and Tannehill sort of bridges the gap between Rodgers and Jordan Love for a couple of years. But the main destination that has been really the big chatter is the Denver Broncos. They have, I think, the most amount of cap space in the league, and would probably be in a position to also bring across Devontae Adams, which Rodgers has been really vocal about.
What a move.
Looking after him, keeping him happy. So they've got the cap space, they've got the draft picks to be able to make a deal happen. The only issue there is, BT, he'd be coming into probably one of the most stacked divisions in terms of quarterbacks that we've seen for quite a while. You would have Mahomes, Justin Herbert for my Chargers, Aaron Rodgers, and then whatever the Raiders decide to do at quarterback, whether they keep Carr or whether they look to bring in someone like, I don't know, Russell Wilson or another upgrade for them, because they reckon that they're on the cusp too.
Yeah, I can't see him leaving, to be honest with you. How many years does he have left as well? What are we thinking here?
I think it's one. I think it's a short-term deal.
So the only team I could see, maybe the Titans, because they still obviously they finished number 1 seed there. If you add a quality quarterback in Rodgers, but does him leaving Green Bay, is he still that quality quarterback? That's the big question.
Oh, absolutely, he
Hard
is.
to argue against it. I mean, he's the favorite, isn't he, for the MVP?
Yeah,
and he'd be a back-to-back MVP. I mean, the guy's still getting it done. I think he's 39, but Brady's shown that he can do it in his 40s and do it at a really high level. I mean, we just said then it's between Rodgers and Brady for the MVP. Yeah. Both of those guys are 39 and 44. So absolutely he could still get it done. I don't think that's a question.
The only thing what might make him leave is if he's trying to get that one up on Brady. If he's trying to chase what Brady's done and whatnot, changing teams, and I can see that being a reason as well, but I can't see him leaving, to be honest. I can't see him. I think he stays. He stays.
Yeah, I think it's all about those relationships in the front office and the organization, and we can only speculate on that. But look, it's certainly going to be a very interesting, few weeks and months ahead as free agency approaches. Certainly more interesting to see than the Pro Bowl, which just took place this last weekend. I don't know if you caught any of that, but what an absolute fizzer.
I caught the first few minutes of the highlights that they posted on their YouTube, and then I switched it off. Look, I mean, it's technically the end of the season for all of those guys, so they're not, and there's nothing really to play for, not that I know of anyway. But it was just there was no intent. It just wasn't really enjoyable to watch. I mean, you're talking the best players from the NFC and the AFC all playing together. You'd expect a bit of an explosive, fun to watch game, but from the highlights that I saw in the first quarter, I was just like, not for me.
Care factor at an all-time low, and people just trying not to get injured.
Yeah.
I mean, BT, do you think there's a solution? I mean, I don't know if you know how some of the other sports leagues do their sort of representative games, but surely they're more competitive than what the NFL is able to dish up.
I don't know, because you got NBA, they do obviously mid-season, but completely different type of sport. You're not getting knocked around and everything. But saying that, the NBA, theirs used to be pretty like half-hearted type players and whatnot, and then they start bringing the charity money for the winning team goes to their charity, so they've actually started trying and start becoming pretty competitive. So if they added something like that in, maybe, but these guys, let's be honest, these guys don't want to be doing that shit, really. They don't want to be trying. They just played this whole full season, getting knocked around, whatnot. They're probably sore, everything. They just want to put their feet up, go on holiday. And that's it. They're just doing it probably because they have to.
I think you're right that you have to give them something to play for. And I don't think that the cash is really the carrot for the best of the best. I might be wrong, but I feel like the baseball, the MLB, I feel like they have a really good system where there's actually like repercussions for, winning the All-Star game. So like the conference that wins the All-Star game, they get home field advantage in the final series. So like, because it's a best of 7, they determine like who gets that extra home game based on which conference wins the All-Star game. I might be wrong in saying that, but if that's right and that's the case, then that's the sort of carrot that, you need, because then it's actually beneficial for the clubs to give their best players up and let them play and risk them to try and get something for themselves.
But do we want to see that? Like, let's say they go out and one of these like major quarterbacks or any of these major players come down and does a major injury, misses full preseasons, misses the first few games of the next season, all because of this irrelevant game. Really, I personally don't like him. I don't like him in any sport, really. All-Star for the NBA is okay because it's they barely touch each other, but not going to get any injuries really in that. But these type of games, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Just scrap it.
So you'd prefer the AFL model where we name a team at the end of the year and we all speculate on, how well the team would actually play if they actually played a game together. And this guy, you can't name him on a half forward flank because he never plays there. You'd rather just have that, put the names on a piece of paper, everyone debate about it. That's it, done. We'll stop talking about it for another year.
Don't even do that. Like, who cares? Honestly, who cares? I think everyone knows who the top players are in most positions. Like, it's not going to really achieve it. You got the MVP there for a reason. Let's just focus on the Super Bowl coming up. That's the one they're all trying to do. This one's just, it's all about TV rights and money. That's what it is. Let's be honest. That's exactly what it is.
And the people will they'll show you. If they're not tuning in, then, there's no interest. They're probably going to drop it.
Yeah. That's it.
Who knows?
So speaking of interest, BT, Steve, we don't obviously condone, too much gambling here on the podcast, but, BT doesn't mind a bit of a dabble. I think Steve doesn't mind jumping in as well. The NFL is synonymous for Super Bowl betting and prop betting, which is sort of like novelty markets that don't really affect the outcome of the game. Are you guys aware of any sort of niche categories that we might be interested in having a look at?
I've got 3 for you. All right, I'm on to it.
Okay. BT's bets. Here we go.
We've got the main one. Let's see what you guys think, because I don't think you would have looked at the odds of these. All right. So the main one, I think it's one of the most markets bet on for the whole thing.
I think I know.
The color of the Gatorade for the Gatorade shower at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
What colors are we thinking here? Go, Josh. What do we think?
Well, I think first you have to look at what the best tasting flavor of Gatorade is. And I think you have to go with the orange. I mean, it's my personal favorite. You get a nice little sweet taste in your mouth. You don't want any of that yellow stuff. I mean, that just tastes like piss. The purple and the blue is a bit out there. So, I think it has to be orange, maybe red at a pinch. But I think that's where you're sitting. I'm sitting orange, and I'm pretty confident in that.
And what about you, Steve? What are we going with?
I think Josh just looked way too far into that. It's I feel like I see either only orange or blue. I'll agree with the orange, but I'm gonna say blue.
Are you a blue man, Steve? Are you a big fan of the blue Gatorade? I'm just asking.
I'm more of a Powerade fella myself.
That's fair enough.
But no, not a blue Powerade at all. I hate the blue Powerade. I actually really like the orange Powerade. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, I just feel like what I've seen before, it's either orange or it's blue. And does it come down to, maybe this is me diving a little bit too deep into it, but does it come down to which team wins it? You've got the Rams. Do they drink the blue, and do the Bengals drink the orange?
Good point.
Yeah, I guess you never see the losing team's color, do you? So I guess you never know.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, we'll go with, all right. The favorite is orange. That is the favorite.
Come on. Hey, I know something, right?
That's boring.
Second favorite is none.
No
Gatorade.
How is that?
No Gatorade.
How is that?
No.
I've never seen no one throw
call.
Gatorade on someone
Happens
before.
every year. Yeah. And the third favorite's blue.
Okay.
Hey.
Well, I'm sitting behind something that never happens, so I'm going good so far.
But there's a rumor floating around on Twitter that it might be blue because it's in LA, and the right colors. They're going to do yellow because no one likes yellow one. But they're going. Apparently, the rumor is the blue.
Okay.
Go the blue.
That's where my money's going.
Are we going to put together a bit of a Statchat multi here and encourage? No, not encourage, but sort of put it out there that this might be something that you might want to look at.
Oh, mate, you know that I'm down for that. I'm down for any of that.
Okay. So we're going the orange Gatorade. What else have you got for us?
All right. This is a simple one. This is like an over or under for the length of the national anthem. Okay.
Oh Wow.
95 seconds, over or under?
Under for me.
Have they announced who's doing it yet? I know they've announced the
that's a
halftime
good-
show,
that's a
but
good point.
I don't know if they've announced.
Yeah,
who
I looked
is
at that
actually-
today. Her
Any
name's
chance of us knowing who it is?
Mickey Gutley. Mickey, I don't know, some Mickey chick. I don't know.
Sounds like no to me. I'm gonna go over.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll be
Over.
a slow one.
I think it'll be slow, but I'm just trying to picture 95 seconds worth of National Anthem in my head. And I'm struggling to figure out how you could stretch it out that long. I know they really drag out like the and the whole of the rain. I know they drag that out, right? But how do you get 95 seconds out of that?
Yeah, I'm going with the under. I'm on the under on that one.
All right, there's 2 out of 3. You've been outvoted, Steve. It's definitely
Look, it's not for
definitely
the first time. This is why I don't gamble.
All right, I've got another over under, right? The amount of planes that are in the flyover. 5.
Okay.
Instead of that.
Over or under
So
5?
it's a specific number, or
It says over or under 5.
or what if you want 5?
You get your money back. How exciting is that? Because I think it's going to be 5.
It's got to be an odd number, right? Because you
Yeah,
want to have the flying V. I mean, that's a statement. So I think it's either 5 or it's 7.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're not having 3 because who just flies around with 3 planes? I mean, you look stupid.
Yes.
You look like you're cheap and you're tight, and you're sitting there in a $7 billion stadium, and all you can afford is 3 planes. I mean, come on. So I think it's a non-negotiable. I think it's got to be 5. If 5 is hedging, I mean, it's a no-brainer beat. I mean, surely that's paying very low odds. It'd have to.
Oh, they're both $1.92, so.
Oh, bargain.
But here's a good one. This one's actually a pretty good one. Who does the Super Bowl MVP? Who do they thank first in their speech?
Jeez.
They're definitely not thanking Roger Goodell first.
Yeah.
I think it, not thank, but do they give credit to the other team? That's usually a thing that people do first. Is that on the list?
That is on the list. That
Steve,
is.
what do you reckon?
I'm gonna think based off the fact that I think Cooper Kupp's gonna win it. So I don't think he'll thank / congratulate the Bengals first. Let's just throw out the crowd for being the home crowd.
Crowd.
Mm.
Oh yeah, how good's his crowd tonight? And then he gets some more. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's a good shout.
Well, that's good odds. That one is good odds.
Hey,
That's your
I'm in-
$8.50 there.
I'm in the money.
You're the deciding vote here, BT. What do you like?
Well, I'm going with religion. They're thanking God first.
That's actually
That's
a
where
good
I'm going.
shout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your MVP pick is definitely religious. Have you confirmed that? That
Have
might
no
be an
idea.
important
not have a
fact
clue.
before
God
committing to that.
knows. God knows. But all I know is that's pretty.
He
I think
does,
it's
yeah.
the most common one.
Yeah.
Mm.
So can I just make one observation? If we are putting this together as a multi, the only downfall I've got is that the planes and the anthem are all going to happen before the game starts. So it could be a pretty miserable day if you get cooked by the planes before we've even got the kickoff.
And
I think you're going to be
even if we get
miserable.
both of those right, we got nothing in the game. So we're waiting. We've got nothing. So we're waiting till the end.
Okay. This is definitely Statchat approved. The worst multi that you can bet on if you're looking to entertain yourself during the game. You're either going to be cooked at the start, cursing the fact that someone was too tight to order too many planes, or you're just going to be sitting there waiting to hope to God that the person that wins the MVP is religious. I mean, it certainly is going to be a great time if you're getting on board with the Statchat Bolty, I think.
All right, I'll run through a couple proper ones, quick ones, all right?
Okay.
Largest lead of the game, over or under 14.5?
Over.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
Over.
Bold.
What will happen first, a sack or a touchdown?
Sack, 100%.
Okay. I was going to say touchdown, but yeah, we spoke about how much pressure the Rams are going to bring. Yeah,
Depends who starts with the ball as well, but
it does. Yeah.
The line for the game, which is a pretty popular one, is -4 for the Rams. So do you take -4 or +4 for the Bengals?
Get on the Rams. Get all on that. That is low.
Yes, I agree.
Yep, sure. Why not?
And the over is 49, I think, points as I'm looking. Yeah, 49 points over under.
We liked the under earlier, didn't we, Steve?
We did, yeah, we did.
Yeah, like the under in that. But this one's the important one, all right?
Oh, no.
It sounds like sarcasm.
Will Snoop Dogg smoke a joint on stage?
Is it legal there?
Yeah, I think it is in LA. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he has to.
Then I think he does.
Yeah.
That's paying like $2.50.
$2.50.
Yeah.
I think that's decent odds. I think the other one, I don't know if they have this market, but I think it would be a short price favorite to have Dre being the first artist, and you've just got that piano. That piano is just fading in slowly, and then we're into it. Guess who's back?
I've got that market right here. I had that. I've got that in my notes. All right. He isn't the favorite.
Really?
Mary J. Blige is. She is. And then it goes Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and then Eminem.
To be the first artist.
Yep. Artist to perform first. Yep. Dr. Dre at $5.50.
I like the value of Dr. Dre at $5.50. I know nothing about betting, but I think that's a terrific value bet if you're looking to just dabble in for the Super Bowl.
The problem I have with these type of bets is like surely someone knows what's actually happening, the routines and all that type of things. Like the National Anthem, they surely have a time limit, what they've been told they have to do it under. Someone knows how many planes are going to be flying over. So it's whether these gambling sites know what actually is happening.
You got to make sure they don't leak. You got to make sure they don't leak. It's like bloody Married at First Sight, and everybody knows who's already out by the first week.
Yeah.
And the odds are going off. Someone's going to leak. Someone's going to leak. But I would have thought the halftime show, like you said, they'd have it pretty well locked down. So if Mary J. Blige is that short odds, someone must know something.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I normally take the favor on these type of things. Yeah.
There you go. Speaking as a man from experience. All right. Talking favorites, talking tips. Let's do a bit of a quick fire roundup. Steve, tip and MVP.
Tip to win it? Is that what we're saying?
Tip to win it.
Rams, Cooper Cup, MVP.
BT, who do you like?
Rams by -7, and I'm with Cooper Cup as well.
But it's a clean sweep. It's Rams for me, but I'm going a defensive MVP. I like Aaron Donald with 3 sacks up front. I think that would be, as the leader of that defense, I'd love to see a defensive MVP. That's what I'm going with.
That'd be awesome. Wouldn't mind seeing that at all.
Yeah, definitely.
All righty. Well, fellas, we will be either tuning in or media blackout or however it is that we're going to watch. We're going to be very excited to see how the Super Bowl goes on Monday morning Australian time. Thanks everybody for tuning in and watching this. I hope you guys enjoy the Super Bowl as well. And like we keep telling you on all our videos, or however it is that you're watching this, make sure you follow us, make sure you subscribe. We're really committed to trying to bring some of the best sports podcasts and best sports content that there is out on the internet. So your support is really much valued.
Sure. We do now have Spotify. These videos will be going on Spotify as well. So that is definitely something to look out for if you prefer the old Spotify to listen to your podcasts.
Yeah, if you don't like the visual that's going on here or just the awful green couch and the timber backgrounds, then, feel free to just listen to us, because that might be a bit more palatable, I think.
We're going to have a lot more coming in as well. A lot more.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've got AFL. We've got weekly general sports podcasts. If there's something specific that you want to hear us talk about, make sure you're letting us know.
Exactly.
All righty. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the game. Until next time.
Cheers.
See you later.